evening to all of you and welcome to Gate Academy. I hope I'm audible and visible. Please let me know in the comment section that my voice is clear and video is clear as well. A very good evening to all of you. A very good evening. Okay, let's start today's topic, that is average. We all know what average actually is. Average is nothing but it is the sum of all the observations divided by number of observations. We all know this formula. How to calculate average, or how to calculate sum from the average, or how to calculate the number of observation if average and the sum is given. We can say that if we have to find out the sum, we can simply multiply our average with the number of terms, or we can say the number of observations. Okay, I am going to ask a very simple question to all of you, and that is, if I am having my observation like 8, 9, 13, 12, 15, 7, 10. Let's suppose I am having some observations are 8, 9, 13, 16, 15, 7 and 10. And what I have to do, I have to calculate the average of them, and I'm having my options as 6, 16, and after that none of these. Okay, I'm having just 3 options. What is the correct answer? If I have to find out the average of these observations and I am having my options as 6, 16 and none of these, so what is my correct answer? I can simply answer this question without using pen. What is the correct answer of this question? No one? Trust me, we can easily know the answer of this question without using pen. We all know if I am having my terms like x1, x2, x3, x4. Let's suppose if I am having 4 terms and they are like x1, x2, x3, x4, and we can say that x1 is the lowest term. X1 is the lowest term and x4 is the largest term, or we can say the greatest term. And we can say that these values lie in between x1 and x4. And what we have to do, if we have to find out the average of these terms, if I have to find out the average of these terms, we can say that the average of these terms should be greater than x1 and should be less than x4. If we are having terms like x1, x2, x3, x4, and if x1 is the lowest term, or we can say the smallest term, and x4 is the greatest term or the largest term, and the value of x2 or x3, we are lying in between somewhere in x1 and x4, then what if we have to find out the average of all these terms, that average should be lie in between these two terms. That means the smallest one and the greatest one. If I have to answer this question, we can see that 7 is the lowest term and 15 is the greatest term. That means the average of all these terms lie somewhere in between 7 and 15. So we can simply eliminate this option. We can simply also eliminate this option. That means the correct answer of this question is option number C, that is none of these. We can simply answer this question as none of these. Okay. Now we are going to learn some more properties regarding average. Let's suppose if I am having x1, x2, x3, x4 and x5. Let's suppose I am having these 5 terms and the average of these 5 terms is equal to A. Right? If the average of these 5 terms is equal to A. Now, if I simply divide this term by A and I also divide this term by A, or what I am doing, I am actually dividing each term by A. So any one of you can answer me, what is my average now? What is my average now? What should I write over here? What I am doing, if the average of x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 is equal to A. Now what I did, I just simply divide each term by A. Now what is my new average? Anyone in the comment section? What is my new average? Okay, my new average will become capital A by small a. If I divide each term by the similar number, then average is also divided by that particular same number. Similarly, if I divide my term by common number, that means a x1, a x2, a x3, a x4 and a x5, then my average becomes a. If I simply subtract the common number or add the common number, that change will reflect in the average as well. So if I write my terms like x1 minus a, x2 minus a, x3 minus a, x4 minus a, x5 minus a, and if I am having my terms like x1 plus a, x2 plus a, x3 plus a, x4 plus a and x5 plus a, then my new average will become a minus a over here and here capital A plus a. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Okay. Next properties. If I have to find out the average of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, what is the average of these observations? What is the average of these observations? There is a very simple trick over here. If I am having same difference in between the terms, there is a difference of plus 2 over here. There is a difference of plus 2, or we can say that if there is a difference or if there is a common difference with respect to middle term, that means here if I have to add, or we can say there's a gap of plus 2, there's a gap of 2, there's a gap of 4 over here and there's a gap of 4 over here. What I mean to say, if we have a common difference in between the terms and if the number of observations are odd in nature, then the middle term is our average. That then middle term are average. Let's suppose we are not having our observation as the odd, or we can say the number, if the number of observations are even. If the number of observations are even, then what we have to do, if let's suppose I am having x plus 3, x plus 6, x plus 9. Let's suppose I am having my terms like this, and here we have total even observation. Then what I have to do, I have to find out the middle term of these. So this value is our average. What we have to do, we have to find out the middle term of these observation. Middle term of these observation, and that value will become our average. And that value will become our average. Now these are the some general observations, or we can say some rules which we have to study before starting our average. Now what we are going to do, we are going to solve some of the problems based on average, and we are going to check our concepts whether they are clear or not, right? So let's move to the very first question over here, and it is the average of first 4 numbers is 20, average of next 6 number is 30. Find out the average of 10 numbers. Here it is given that the average of first 4 numbers is equal to 20 and the average of next 6 numbers is equal to 30. Now what we have to do, we have to find out the average of these 10 number. What I have to find out? I have to find out the average of these 10 number. How do I calculate this? We all know the formula of average, that is equal to average equals to sum of all the observation, or we can say the sum divided by number of observation, right? So we just simply put our formula over here just to calculate the average of these 10 numbers. So we can write it like, if we have to find out sum, what I have to do, if I have to find out the sum, I have to multiply my average with the number of terms. So we can say that if I have to find out the sum of these first 4 numbers, if I have to find out the sum of these first 4 numbers, what I can write? I just simply multiply this 4 by 20. And if I have to find out the sum of next 6 numbers, what I have to do? I have to multiply this by 30. And here I am having total 10 numbers, or I can say the total 10 observations. Now what I have to do? I just simply multiply them, add them and divide. So here I am getting 80 plus 180 divided by 10. So we can just simply multiply 10 over here and I'll get 26 as my answer. And I'll get 26 as my answer. Is it clear? This is a very simple question. Now let's move to the next question, which we have, question number 2. The average age of 24 men and a woman is equal to 35 years. If one woman left, the average becomes 34 years. Find the age of the woman who left the class. What it is given? It is given that here we have 24 men. Here what we have? We have in total 24 men and 1 woman or a woman. And the average age of all these 25 persons is equal to 35 years. Now what it says, if this woman left the class, the new average will become 34 years. Now what we have to do, we have to find out the age of women. How do we calculate this? How do we calculate this? Here what I'm having my average and the number of observations. With the help of average and number of observation, what I calculate? I simply calculate the sum of 25 persons, and that is equal to 25 into 35. But when this women left the class, now I am having just 24 men in my class. And after that, I am just having 24 men in my class. So what I have to do? My new sum will equal to 24, and the average is also decreased by 1. That means what I have to do? I have to multiply this by 34. Now just to calculate the age of women, that is equal to sum, which is old, minus new sum, and this will give my answer. What is the correct answer of this question? What is the correct answer of this question? The women is of 59 years. Women is of 59 years. What I have to do? I have to subtract 25 into 35 minus 24 into 34, and I'll get 59 years as my answer. 59 years as my correct answer. Is it clear? Okay. Shall we move to the next question? Is it clear to everyone? Okay. Now let's discuss the next question. It is given that the average marks obtained by 125 students in a class is 29. If the average marks of passed students is 36 and that of failed student is 11, find the number of failed students. What we have to do? We have to find out the number of failed student. What we have to find out? We have to find out the number of failed student. How do we find out this? It is given that the average marks of 125 students. That means here we are talking about the total number of students. Total students. That means pass students plus the failed one is also calculated over here, and that is equal to 125. Here we are having 125 students. Now what we have to find out? We have to find out first the sum of all these students, and that is equal to 125 number of observations into average, which is given as 29 over here. So from this we simply calculated the sum of the total marks which is achieved by the students. Let's suppose the number of failed student, that is equal to x. Let's suppose the number of failed students, that is equal to x. Now what we have to find out? If we have to find out the sum of failed students, that is equal to average into number of observation, that is equal to 11x. Now what we have to find out? We have to find out the number of failed students. So how do we calculate it? If we have to calculate it, we can write it as sum of past students, that is equals to 125 minus x number of observation into 36. So we can say that 125 into 29, that is equals to 125 minus x into 36 minus 11x, or we sorry plus 11x. We have to solve this equation and we have to calculate the value of x over here, and when we calculated the number of x, we get our answer as the number of failed students. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate the value of x over here, which is equal to 35. So 35 students fail in the examination. So the correct answer of this question is equal to 35 students. The correct answer of this question is 35 students. What we have to do, we simply have to find out the value of x. What we did, the sum of all the students passed and failed, that is equal to this. And it is given that the sum of past student, or the average of past student, that is equal to 36. So the number of students is equal to 125 minus x. We just simply multiply it by average and we will get the total sum achieved by the past students, and this is the sum. This is a total sum of failed students. So we will get our answer as 35, which is equal to the number of failed students. Is it clear? Okay, now let's move to the next question, question number 4. The average temperature of Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday is 45 degrees Celsius, and the average temperature of Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday is 42 degrees Celsius. If the temperature of Monday is 52 degrees Celsius, then find the temperature of Thursday. What we have to do? We have to find out the temperature of Thursday. A very good evening. Here it is given that the average temperature of these 3 days is equal to 45 degrees Celsius, and the average of these 3 days is equal to 42 degrees Celsius. And it is also given that the temperature on Monday, or we can say the temperature of Monday, is equal to 52 degrees Celsius. Now what we have to do, we have to find out the temperature on Thursday. How do we calculate this? Let's see. If I have to find out the total sum, I can say that the total temperature of Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, that should be equal to 45 into 3. What I did, I just simply transfer the number of observation over here. And it is also given that if the total temperature on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, that is equal to 42 into 3. So what I do, I just simply subtract them. So this t is eliminated with this one. This Wednesday is eliminated, this one. We are left with just Monday minus Thursday. That is equal to, there is a difference of 3 over here, into 3 is common. That means we can say, if we have to find out the difference of temperature in between the Monday and Thursday, it is equal to 9. But what we have to do, we have to find out the temperature of Thursday. That means we have to find out the value of this one. And it is given that the temperature temperature of Monday is what? That is equal to 52 degrees Celsius. That is equal to 52 degrees Celsius. So just simply subtract this 9 from this just to calculate the temperature on Thursday, and that is equal to 43 degrees Celsius. 43 degrees Celsius is the correct answer. Is it clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question. This one is very easy. Okay. The average age of 8 students of a class is 32 and the average of 7 students of another class is 35. Average age of 5 students of another class is 39. Then find out the age of all classes. Find out the average age of all these classes. Here we have 3 classes. Class 1, class 2 and class 3. It is given that the average age of 8 student of class 1, we just consider this class as class 1, and it is given that the average age of 8 student is equal to 32, and the of the next class it is given that the average age of 7 students of another class is 35, and similarly, and now what we have to do? We have to let's see, Harshit. Here we have total 8 students. That means number of observation into average, just to calculate the total sum. In second class, number of observation is equal to 7 and the value of average is equal to 35. For class third, the number of students that is equal to 5 and the average is 39. Now what we have to do, if we have to find out the average of all these classes, we have to add these and divide it by this is 13 and 7, 20, divided by 20. Just calculate this value and our answer is equal to 34.8. Very good. Our answer will be 34.8. Is it clear? What I have to do, I just simply have to add all the sum of the ages, and what we have to do, we have to divide it by number of observation just to calculate my total average. Clear? Okay. Now move to the next question. Okay. Find the average marks of 3 classes X, Y, Z. The average marks of X is equals to 83, Y is equals to 76 and Z is equal to 85. The average marks of class X and Y is 79 and the average marks of class Y and Z is 81. Then find the average marks of all the students of 3 classes. How do we calculate this? Try to put allegations over here just to calculate the number of observations, or we can say the number of students in each class. So we can simply calculate our answer. Here I am having 3 classes as X, Y and Z. Try to put allegations in this to solve this question easily. Sorry for the disturbance or for the inconvenience. Okay, we are on this question, and what we have to do, we have the marks of three classes. We have X, Y, and Z. And it is given that the average marks of class X is equal to 83. The average marks of class Y, that is equal to 76. And the average marks of class Z is equal to 85. And it is also given that the average marks of class X and Y, that is equal to 79. And the average marks of class Y and Z, that is equal to 81. Now whenever we have such type of things, which type of things? This type of thing. Whenever I am having A, B, C or D, something like these values, and what I have to do, I have to put allegations. We have to put allegations in this. So if, let's suppose I'm just having three values, right? If I'm just having three values, I can say that if I have to put allegations in these three values, that means the value of B should lie in between C and A. After that only I can put allegations over here, and I can write it as A, C and B. This middle value should lie in between these range. And what I have to do, I'll write it as B minus C and A minus B as my result. The one value should be greater than this and one value should be smaller than this. And here I'm getting the same pattern. This value is greater than this one and this value is smaller than this one. So I just simply put the allegations over here. And similarly, I can put allegations over here also, just to calculate the number of students. With all these, I can find out the number of student. So here I am getting my value as 3. Here I am getting value as 4 from the both sides, and here I get my value as 5. That means the number of students in class X is equal to 3. Number of students in class Y, that is equal to 4, and the number of students in class Z, that is equal to 5. Now what we have to do, we have to find out the average marks of all three classes. How do I calculate this? 3 into 83, this is the total sum of marks of class Z, plus 76 into 4 plus 85 into 5 divided by the total number of students. That means 5 plus 4, 9, 9 plus 3, 12. Now what I have to do, I just simply have to solve this to get my answer. Solve this and that is your answer. Is it clear? Just simply solve this question and solve that particular thing and you will get your answer. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Just skip this one. There's some error in this question. Okay. Solve this one. The average temperature of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday is 31 degrees Celsius, and the average temperature of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday is 29.5 degrees Celsius. If the temperature of Monday is 37.5% more than Friday, then find the temperature of Monday. How do we calculate this? How do we calculate this? It is given that the average temperature of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. This value is equal to 31 degrees Celsius. But what we have to do, if we have to find out the sum, we have to multiply this term by 4. And after this, we just calculated the total temperature recorded on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. In the another line, it is given that the average temperature of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, that is equal to 29.5 degrees Celsius. And if we have to find out the sum, we have to multiply this equation by 4 as well. Now what we have to do, just simply subtract these terms. All these days are eliminated with each other and we will get our answer as Monday minus Friday, that is equal to, here we get the difference of 2.5 or 1.5. 1.5 into 4. Clear? So we can say that the difference of temperature Monday to Friday, that is equal to 6. That is equal to 6. But it is given that if the temperature of Monday is 37.5% more than. Now what we have to do, we have to convert this value in fraction and we can write it as 3 by 8 in the fraction. We can write 3 by 8 in the fraction. And it is given that if the temperature of Friday is equal to 8x, that means the temperature of Monday should be equal to 3 more than that. That means that is equal to 11x. So what we have to do, from this we just simply calculated the value of x. So we can write 11x minus 8x, that is equals to 6. So we can say that 3x equals to 6, that means the value of x over here is equal to 2. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate the temperature on Monday. So just simply multiply this term by 2 and we will get 22 degrees Celsius as my answer. And I'll get 22 degrees Celsius as my answer. Is it clear? Is it clear? If we have to find out the temperature on Friday, what I have to do, I just simply have to put the value of x in that 8x and we will get 16 degrees Celsius as my answer. I'll get 66 degrees Celsius as my answer. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Question number 9. This is a similar type of question and try to find out the temperature of Monday. Now what you have to do, you have to find out the temperature of Monday in this particular question. Okay, how do we calculate this? It is given that the average temperature of Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, that is equal to 37 degrees Celsius. And if we have to find out what? If we have to find out the sum, we have to multiply this by 3 just to calculate the sum of temperature of Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. And it is given that the average temperature of Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, this should be equal to 34 into 3. That means we can say that if we subtract these equations, we will get Monday minus Thursday, that is equal to 9. 3, that is equal to 9. Right? How you will take 3 by 8? Okay. I can write 12.5% as 1 by 8 in the fraction, right? If I multiply this term by 3, or I can write this term as 12 1 by 2%, right? If I multiply this term by 3, what I'll get? I'll get 36. 3 by 2%, right? And I can write this term as 36. 2 plus 1 by 2%. And we know this 2 by 2 will give 1 over here, and this will shift in this pattern, and we can say 37 1 by 2%. Or we can write this term as 37 1 by 2. If I multiply this side by 3, what I have to do? I have to multiply this term by 3 also, and I'll get 3 by 8 as my answer. And I can write 3 by 8 as 37 1 by 2 in the fraction. Right? Okay. I'll get Monday minus Thursday, that is equal to 9. Now it is given that the temperature of Thursday is by 4 by 5th of the Monday. Now just simply put the value of Thursday in this equation and you will get the temperature of Monday. So I can write this equation like 5m minus 4m is equals to 45. That means the temperature on Monday is equal to 45 degrees Celsius. The temperature on Monday is equal to 45 degrees Celsius. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay, now let's move to the next question. In a hostel, there are 35 students. When 7 new students arrive, then per day expenditure of mess is increased by 42 rupees, while the expenditure of per student is decreased by 1 rupee. Then find out the original expenditure of the mess. What we have to do? We have to find out the original expenditure of the mess. How do we calculate the original expenditure? A very good evening. A very good evening to all of you, and try to solve this particular question and try to find out the original expenditure of the mess. It is given that initially there are 35 students in a hostel. If I have to calculate the old expenditure, that is equal to the number of students who are consuming the meal into the costing. So we can say that if I have to calculate the sum of old expenditure, we can say it 35 into average, or I can simply write it as 35A, right? We'll discuss this, Shubham, don't worry. And it is given that when 7 new students arrive, that means now we are having 35 plus 7. That means now we are having total 42 students. When 42 students arrived, the expenditure of mess is increased by 42. That means if I have to write down the new expenditure of mess, we can say that this is 42 into, that is increased by 42, right? So we can say that an expenditure of per student. So why don't we calculate it with the help of each student? Okay, if we have initially 35 students and the average of average of each student is equal to A. Let's suppose each student, the average expenditure of each student in a mass is A rupees per day. A rupees per day, and there are 35 students. So we can say that the total old expenditure of mess is equal to 35 into A, right? But because of the addition of 7 students, 7 more students. So in total now we are having 24 students, and the average of each student is decreased by 1. That means that should be equal to A minus 1 rupees per day. A minus 1 rupees per day, 2, 1, 10, let's see. And it is given that the when 7 new students arrive, then per day expenditure of mess is decreased by 42 is increased by 42 rupees. From this we can say that the old expenditure of mess is equal to this. When these 7 more students arrived, the expenditure of mess is increased by 42 rupees, but the expenditure of all over mess, that means the total expenditure of or we can say the expenditure of mess will become this now. Now what we have to do, we just simply have to solve this equation and calculate the value of A from this, and I can write it as 35A plus 42 equal to 42A minus 42, right? So we just simply transfer this A over here and this 42 over here, and what I'll get 77A is equal to 84. That means A equals to 12. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate the original expenditure, that is equal to 35A. So just simply put the value of A over here and we can write 35 into 12, which is equal to 210. That means 210 rupees. No. Wait. This is not equal to 210. This is equal to okay, just simply multiply this term and you will get your answer. Just simply multiply this term and this is equal to 420 rupees per day. The original expenditure of mess is 420 rupees per day. That is equal to 420 rupees per day. And if we have to find out the new expenditure of mess, we just simply put our value of A over here and we will get our answer. If I have to find out my new expenditure, what I have to do, I have to put the value of A in this equation and I'll get my answer. Clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question number 11th. Okay, this time 13 more students join the mess. In a hostel, there are 42 students. The expenditure of mess is increased by 30 rupees per day on arriving of 13 new students, while the expenditure of per day per student is decreased by 3 rupees. Then find out the original expenditure of the mess. This is a similar type of question, and answer the original expenditure of the mess in the comment section. What is the correct answer of this question? This is the exact similar type of question. We just change the values in this one. Okay. I can write it as, if I am having 42 students initially in the hostel, the old expenditure is equal to 42, and when 13 more students join the hostel, the expenditure of mess is increased by 30 rupees, right? This is increased when there is an addition of 13 students and the average of per student is decreased by 3 rupees. Now what I have to do, I just simply have to solve this equation and we have to calculate the value of A. As I get the value of A, what I have to do, I have to find out the original expenditure of mess, that is equal to 42A. That is equal to 42A. Now just simply put the value of A in this equation to get your original expenditure. To calculate your original expenditure, what you have to do, you just simply have to solve this equation, that is equal to 42A plus 30, that is equal to 42 plus 13, A minus 3. Clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now let's move to the next question. In three natural number, the average of any two number is added with third number, then the result we get is 24, 20 and 18. Find all three natural numbers. Now what we have to do, we have three natural numbers and average of any two is added with a third number. We will get our result as 24, 20 and 18. Now what we have to do, we have to find out all three natural number. How do we solve this particular question? How do we solve this particular question? How do we calculate this? Okay, let's try to solve this. Let's assume I am having my three natural numbers A, B and C. And it is given that if the average of any two natural number, that means if I add A plus B and that divided by 2, this is the average of these two number. And if I add this with the third number, I'll get 24 as my answer. Okay. In the next equation, if I add B plus C by 2 and I'll add A in this, I'll get 20 as my answer. And if I add A plus C, that is average of A and C, and I'll add B in this, I'll get 18 as my answer as per the question. Now what I have to do, I have to calculate the value of A, B and C. So whenever we have this type of question, what you have to do, you just simply have to take the LCM and we can write it as A plus B plus 2C, that is equal to 48. Here I can write it as B plus C plus 2A, that is equal to 40. And I can also write it as A plus C plus 2B, that is equal to 36. Now what I am having, I'm having my 3 equations and 3 variable. So from this, what I have to do, I have to calculate the value of a plus b plus c. How do I calculate the value of a plus b plus c from these equations? Anyone in the comment section? How do I calculate the value of a plus b plus c in the comment section? I just simply add all these values, right? If I add all these values, I'll get 4a over here, 4b over here, and 4c over here. And that is equal to 124. So I can say that 4a plus b plus c, that is equal to 124. So what I have to do, if I have to calculate the value of a plus b plus c, I'll get it as 31. I'll get it as 31. Now what I have to do, I have to calculate the value of a, b and c, not a plus b plus c. So when you have the value of a plus b plus c, just simply put that value in these equations. You can also write this equation as a plus b plus c, that is equal to 48, right? So we can simply put the value of a plus b plus c as 31. We can say 31 plus c, that is equal to 48. From this we can get the value of c as 17. We can get our value of c as 17. Similarly, here I can write that 31 plus a is equal to 40. That means the value of a is equal to 9. And from this we can say that 31 plus b is equals to 36. That means the value of b over here is 5. So here we have our 3 natural number as 5, 6 and 17. 5, 9 and 17. 5, 9 and 17. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now let's end this session here only. We will continue with the rest of the questions from the next lecture. Till then, keep smiling, stay safe, bye bye. Thank you so much for watching this video and good night to all of you.